Hi there, and welcome to the Founder's Journey, where we believe that founders don't suddenly arrive, they evolve. Today, we're going to be talking about the £1,000,000 launch myth. It's actually a myth that you can just get up and go do £1,000,000 launch. Because every year you hear stories of these £1,000,000 launches and, record-breaking sales. And most people think they can just get up and do it. That, if your launch wasn't the real reason for the success, though, the question should be that if your launch was not the real reason for the success, what was it? What actually enabled the $1,000,000 launch to be successful? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's take a look at a few things that will help us to understand. Because when most people look at those $1,000,000 launches, they consider maybe the big numbers that they see. They see, oh, wow, that person made 100,000 in one day, or that person made $500,000 in one day. Or if you're like Alex Hormozi, it's not impossible for you to make £1,000,000 in one day. Or Russell Brunson make £1,000,000 in one day. Frank Kern, £1,000,000 in one day. Even Tony Robbins can make even more than that in one day. But people quickly conclude that the launch system created the results. But I think that's not the point. That's not how it worked. The launch was the harvest, a cumulative harvest of the years of working in the trenches, of the years of planting seeds, of the years of working, of the years of establishing a system that promotes better relationships with their clients, that promotes the right infrastructure, that tests and has built an audience, that has built the right products. I think that's the point. I think that's what makes the £1,000,000 launches successful. Think about all the experience and the experiments that the owners of those businesses will have had to have done. They'll have to have tested the marketing strategies that worked. They will have failed on many occasions. They would have gone through many systems that enables them to listen deeply to the customers. They will have made numerous iterations on their product or services. Then they will have learned and discovered what truly resonates with the audience. That's why, taking all that experience, they can then go and make or create a £1,000,000 or $1,000,000 launch, and it works. Now, think about this. That actually shows you, what I've been saying, actually shows you that every entrepreneur goes through a particular journey. That's why we're talking about the founder's journey behind the launch. The founder's journey behind the launch will look something like this. Maybe in the beginning, just like Alex Hormozi ran many gyms and Russell Brunson studied a lot about marketing, that's the explorer stage. They will have learned many and developed many capabilities at that explorer stage. So their exploration stage will help them to uncover and test their assumptions and find what works. Then they move on to the builder stage, where they construct the foundation, where they produce products and they make sales. They learn to make sales. Then they will have moved into the operator stage, where they're now making money consistently. Then they will have grown and developed more capabilities to allow them to scale their business. That's how I think it works. And so really, when you check it, this is what they're actually selling. This is what enabled the £1,000,000 or the $1,000,000 launch to happen. They sold trust because they've developed it over the years. Because how can, let's say, they're even selling £1,000 product. How can 1,000 people give them £1,000 unless they've developed trust with them? They've earned the reputation. They got many results before the £1 million launch. They had testimonials before. They had a track record. Okay? They developed relationships that were genuine. There's nothing like, oh, I just developed a relationship online. It's going to be hard for you to make £1 million sales in one day without anybody just knowing you. That's going to be tough. Okay, so there's years of showing up even when they didn't feel like it. Look at Tony Robbins. How many stages has Tony Robbins actually mounted to speak, even when he didn't feel like it? Even when things were not going right for him, even when things were difficult in his family life or in his financial life or in his business life. Just think about whatever. But he showed up for many years. They developed credibility. That's what they're selling on that day. When they tell you they make £1 million a day, these are what they're selling: their trust, their reputation, their relationship, their credibility, and their experiences. That's what they sell on the day. That's why it works. So now the difference between the different mindsets, because when you are at the explorer stage, you have a different mindset from where you are at the growth stage. But I want you to understand this, that your perception when you are at the explorer stage may be something like, oh, I need the launch strategy. If you can just show me the launch strategy. That's why a lot of people will gravitate towards someone who's showing them the launch strategy. They'll have all these maybe followers who are following them because they want to learn the launch strategy, because they want to do exactly the same thing. But they're going to soon discover very quickly that it's not going to work. But somebody who's at the growth stage, who has passed through what it takes to explore, to build, and to make money consistently, they instinctively know what I need to learn is I want to know the capabilities that made the launch possible. So if you're at the explorer stage, what you really should be thinking about is, how can I learn, or what can I learn at this stage to help me in my future? Not give me the launch strategy. For example, we help individuals and organizations to raise grant funding. So when we start talking about the amount of monies you can get in grants, somebody says, give me the list so that I can be on my way. All right, I'll give you the list, but you're not going to get far with that list, because the real crux of the matter is how you gather information, how you construct your application to actually make it successful. So even if I gave you the list, it's useless to you, because you can Google and you can get the same list. So you don't need me to give you the list. But what you really need is for me to teach you the methods of gathering information, presenting your organization in such a way that makes it look credible and fundable to those who are given the grants. You understand what I mean? In the same way, stop chasing after the strategy to launch £1 million launch in one day, make £1 million in one day launch, because it's a myth. Truly, it's a myth. So here is the reality. Most people focus on the revenue, the sales, the launch numbers, but you know what? Underneath all that is the audience. Underneath all that is the system. Underneath all that is the relationship that they built over time. And underneath all that is how they developed themselves over the many years. So the point is that large results are the visible harvest of the invisible capabilities. Let me say that again so that you can see yourself. Large results, £1 million, £500,000 a day, is the large results that are the visible harvest of the invisible capabilities. That's the truth. Okay. I want you to remember this, that founders don't just arrive, they evolve. So if you want to learn to assess where you are in the founder's journey, whether you are the explorer stage, the builder stage, the operator stage, the growth stage, or the visionary stage, then if you look in the description box, you'll find the free tool that you can use to help you to determine where you are and also give you information on how to progress to the next stage. All right. Remember, founders don't just suddenly arrive. Founders actually evolve. Okay. God bless you. I'll see you in the next video.